There's free speech and then there's hate speech. And there is no place, especially now, especially after what happened to Charlie in our society.
On September 16, 2025, following the death of Charlie Kirk, U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi, a high-profile figure within the Republican Party, declared unambiguously, there is free speech and then there is hate speech. There's no place for the latter in our society. This single phrase, seemingly innocuous to many, triggered a wave of confusion and outrage among her own base. Courts make rules. Minds obey different logics. When the First Amendment collides with human psychology, democracy strains. Since its founding, the American Republic has been built on an ideal, freedom of expression. But for the Republican Party, this isn't just a legal principle, it's a cornerstone of their political identity. Their platform is clear. They are the staunch defenders of total free speech, without distinction, without compromise. They argue that so-called hate speech is a leftist invention designed to censor dissent and control the public narrative. It's a sacred creed, a central pillar of their collective story and how they see themselves in the political landscape. This isn't an abstract position. It's a profound commitment that manifests in their consistent opposition to attempts to regulate speech on social media or in universities. They firmly believe that an idea, even the most repugnant one, must be countered by other ideas, not by censorship. This conviction shapes their group identity, but what happens when that identity collides with reality? Legally speaking, the First Amendment protects a very broad swath of speech, including speech many people find hateful or repellent. The courts have repeatedly rejected a general hate speech exception. Only a narrow class of speech, like true threats or incitement to imminent lawless action, can be criminalized. From a psychological perspective, this is a textbook case of a threatened group identity. Republican supporters were suddenly faced with a brutal contradiction. Their own side, the one that has always championed total free speech as a non-negotiable, was now suggesting a line should be drawn. This statement was the psychological equivalent of a tribal chief rejecting the tribe's most fundamental value. It provoked a deep sense of cognitive dissonance in conservative voters. Cognitive dissonance is the mental discomfort we feel when our beliefs are inconsistent with each other. For these voters, two core ideas were in direct conflict. I am a Republican, and we stand for total freedom of speech. A leader from our party is saying the government should censor hate speech. To resolve this discomfort, our brains have two main options. Either we change our core belief, which is extremely difficult in politics, or we find a way to justify the contradiction. This is where the reaction becomes truly fascinating. The immediate psychological response was a desperate scramble to reduce this dissonance by adopting various coping strategies. The rebranding tactic. Some attempted to redefine Pam Bondi's statement as a nuanced position. They insisted she was only talking about imminent threats of violence, conveniently ignoring that she initially used the much broader term hate speech. This is a psychological defense mechanism to make the statement align with the initial belief. The brain literally rewrites the past to make the present more comfortable. The justification defense. Others argued that her statement was an emotional reaction to a tragedy and did not reflect the official party line. This is a way of psychologically separating the individual from their political affiliation to maintain the purity of the group identity. It's a classic "she didn't mean it that way" argument. The denial and expulsion response. The most radical supporters refused to accept her words at all, going as far as to label her a traitor. This is the most extreme reaction to dissonance, where the individual would rather completely reject the contradictory information than change their beliefs. They would rather sacrifice a leader than a core ideology. This is a powerful demonstration of how group identity can become more important than the individual members themselves. This isn't the first time an American political party has wrestled with this concept. Historically, the Republican Party, particularly its libertarian wing, has been a bulwark against any attempt to regulate speech. They've argued tirelessly in courtrooms and on the national stage for the rights of even the most controversial speakers. This makes Bondi's statement all the more jarring for her base. It goes against not just a current talking point, but decades of political and legal identity formation. The very person whose job it is to uphold the law seemed to be suggesting a fundamental shift in their party's core belief system. Now it's your turn to be the psychologist. Take a moment and reflect. Imagine your favorite political figure, someone you've supported for years, makes a statement that directly contradicts your fundamental values. How would you react? Would you share their post while insisting that context is more important than words? Would you feel an internal unease without knowing why? Or would you completely reject them as a betrayal? Your reaction is a mirror of how your own brain manages dissonance and protects your group identity. It's a powerful and often subconscious process that influences our political choices more than we realize. The Pam Bondi incident is more than a simple political gaffe. It's a case study in how our group affiliations and our deepest held beliefs can clash with reality. Psychology shows us that we are not rational beings who perfectly apply principles. We are emotional beings who fiercely protect our identities and our collective narratives. The next time you hear a politician give a seemingly inconsistent speech, don't just ask if they're being a hypocrite. Ask yourself, what is the psychological conflict at play here? What narrative is being threatened? By asking these questions, we begin to understand the invisible forces that shape our world. And that's exactly what we do here on Brains Behind Society.
If you found this video analyzing the psychology of politics and free speech intriguing, you've come to the right place. Subscribe to Brains Behind Society for more videos that reveal the hidden psychological forces shaping our world, from political debates to cultural movements. Hit the like button if you learned something new, and let me know in the comments below what other psychological phenomena you'd like us to explore next.